lot of different things we can do with fractions. In this video, we're going to learn about how to simplify, find an equivalent fraction, and also find a missing number in a fraction. Let's begin with simplifying fractions. Simplifying means to make something smaller. Well, how do I make something smaller in math? By dividing. So what I need to do is I need to look at my 12 over 40. I need to think about what number does both 12 and 40 have in common that I can divide both of them by. So I need to think, what's a factor of both of them? Well, I know that they're both even, so I know I can divide both of them by 2. So I would do 12 divided by 2 is 6, and 40 divided by 2 is 20. Now I need to look at my numbers again. Is there anything that both 6 and 20 share in common? They're even, so I think that 2 again can go into both top and bottom. So now I'm going to do my division. I'm going to get 3 over 10. 3 and 10 don't share any common factors besides 1, so this is how I know I'm done with my problem. Now some of you might be thinking, isn't there an easier way to do that? There is. If I take my number to start with, and I recognize 4 can go into both of those. If I divide both of them by 4 to start, 12 divided by 4 is going to be 3, and 40 divided by 4 is going to be 10. I can get to my right answer in just one step. The bigger the factor you can find, the less steps you have. Let's do one more practicing with this. If I have 15 over 25, I know my divisibility rule. Since they both end in 5, I can divide them both by 5. So I'm going to do 15 divided by 5 and 25 divided by 5 to get a simplified answer of 3/5. That would be how I simplify fractions. We also talked in school about how to find an equivalent fraction. Equivalent fraction is great because you get to pick any number you want to multiply it by. You can pick your favorite number, you can pick an easy number. As long as you multiply the top and bottom by the same number, you'll find an equivalent fraction. Let's say you like multiplying by tens. I can do 4 times 10 and 50 times 10. So I would get 40 over 50. That means 4 tenths and 40 over 50 are equivalent fractions. But I can find more equivalent fractions. Let's say you like to multiply by 2 because you know your 2's really well. I can do 4 times 2 and 5 times 2. I would get 8 over 10. This means that 4/5 and 8/10 are also equivalent fractions. To find an equivalent fraction, I multiply the numerator and denominator by the same number. Finally, I can figure out missing numbers because now I know enough about equivalent fractions. I'm going to look here. I'm missing this top number right up here. But I know on my problem that I'm doing 9 and I'm changing it into 45. Let me think about my math facts. 9 times 5 equals 45. So I know I'm multiplying by 5 to find this equivalent fraction. This time you don't get to pick, it's telling you which equivalent fraction to use. It's telling you to multiply by 5. Whatever I do to the bottom, I have to also do to the top. So I would do 8 times 5 to figure out that 40 is my missing number. Let's practice one that's kind of similar but kind of different at the same time. This time, I'm starting with a bigger number of 70 and I'm going to a smaller number of 7. This means I need to make it smaller, which means I need to divide. I know that 70 divided by 10 gives me 7. So on the top, I'm also going to do the same thing and divide by 10 to get 2 as my missing number. This is how you would find equivalent fractions and you would simplify fractions.